Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the series where we are making a Android tower defense game. So far, last time we finally implemented the attacking of the towers. So we can build a few of them, and when we start the enemy wave, yeah, finally firing at the enemies. The projectiles are a little bit slow. I think I'm gonna increase the speed. And we can continue. As usual, please let me know if you can hear and see me well and everything is working correctly. There's my to-do list. As usual, we're gonna make what we're gonna make. It's not necessarily means we're gonna finish all of these. Yay, thank you, Tim. Thank you, Tim, and welcome. So, first off, I was thinking about a little optimization, which is not necessary now, but it's an easy one and I think would work well. Last time we implemented the acquire target, which is somewhere. Could be this, get closest monster. That's called for each tower, each frame. And I don't think that's necessary because when the tower is not ready to fire, it's a waste to target a new monster. Could be useful later if we implement something like a rotating turret that's following the monster. But since now there's nothing like that, we don't have to recalculate the required closest monster on each frame for every tower. So let me find a place where we do that. Which is here. And I think I'm just gonna skip the tower if it's not ready. Let me just see if the necessary data is there. Let me close the other files. So it's inside the map. Okay. There, the map holds the towers, and the tower cooldown is private. I think I'm gonna make it public so that we can access the data required. So let me quickly change this to something like this. And make this setter private. And of course, that should be the other one, the cooldown left, not the cooldown. But I can leave it as that, so sometimes we could need that. Okay. And here, when assigning the targets to every tower, let's use this. So if the tower cooldown left is bigger than 0, let's just continue. Meaning we don't care about this tower right now. So that's one thing. which is this line. As you can see, it was just a matter of one line and fairly easy. Okay, let me put it down there. It's really a small thing, but why not? The other thing is the tower range indicator. Every tower has a firing range, and for now the player does not know how far the tower can fire. This is gonna be, again, gonna require a bit of thinking how to implement this. I've got a simple white circle that I was thinking based over the tower, semi-transparent, to show the range of the tower. But how to do that, it's gonna be another thing. Okay, so let me just quickly add this to the content. Range. So how are we gonna do this? One thing is we have to tell when to show the range, and since this is a touch device, there's nothing like a mouse hover that I would usually use. Just hovering over the tower to show its range. But since we can't do such thing, I was thinking a toggle button down there to switch, and when it's on, all the towers would show the range. But please let me know if you've got a better idea how to implement this, and it could be a maybe tower selection, like tapping on a tower would activate just this one. Maybe be a better way. Okay, let me try it this way. So first, let's implement the drawing. It would be inside a tower tile. Something like a flag, if it should draw the range or not. Gonna call it show range. And inside the draw, call, which we have to override. Gonna tell if show range, and we're gonna draw the range. And we're gonna have to stretch the texture appropriately based on the actual range of the tower. So let me copy this. And we're gonna have to load the texture as well. I'm gonna do the same as the projectile. Using static just so that they can share the texture. Oh, and it shouldn't be in the fire projectile, but let's do both of these inside the constructor, I guess. Like so. This should just, with the first tower tile instantiated, load the textures, and then they should be usable. Okay, so now we use the range texture. The center will be the same, the position. But the origin isn't the same, right? Because the texture has a different size. We need to calculate also the origin for the range texture. Okay. So that should do the trick. I'm gonna use this origin. Then for the color, I'm gonna decrease the opacity to something like, I don't know, let's try 20%. And one more thing is the stretching. We could either use the scale, okay. Current range image is 320 pixels, which is 5 tiles. The current range is 4 tiles, but that's 4 tiles diameter, or what's it called? Half of the diameter radius. So in total, it's actually 8. So we can try something like range divided by 5. For now, it's not very pretty, but just for testing. So that's the actual range of the tower divided by the size of the texture, and that's times 2, as I mentioned before. Okay. So that should be okay. There's one more problem. we discovered, or we know, we are drawing the tiles from top to bottom, and when we draw this tower, including the range indicator, it's gonna be overdrawn by the next tiles that are below it. So we need to somehow delay the drawing of the range indicators once all the tiles are drawn. Which is gonna be tough. But I think we can just try for now if all we've done so far is working. So I'm gonna set the default for the show range to true and show the range for all the towers. But we are gonna have to mention to the game manager or somewhere, maybe the map manager rather, that we want to draw this and let it draw later. Okay, so it's partially working. We can see, what was I mentioning? That tile is overdrawing the indicator. It's slightly light white overlay there, but it's too big. So I've miscalculated something. Um, is the scaling working on both axes? Yeah, I think it. Yeah, that should be right. So that's 5 tiles centered in the middle, and we need to make it into 8. So it should be times 2, right? Range, that's 4 times 64. But it's like firing on both sides. So like 4 tiles up, 4 tiles down. It's like 8 tiles. Why is it so big? That's range. Origin. Oh, because we are measuring in pixels and not in tiles, right? Okay. So that's not divided by 5, but 320, of course. Because the range is in pixels already, not in tiles. Is it? Right, yeah. So we have to use the size of the indicator as well in pixels. I was using tiles, it was a mistake. Well, let's quickly rebuild to verify. Then we're gonna make this public. Or do we even need this? I don't think we do. Even the textures and stuff. I'm gonna have to move it anyway. I'm gonna have to move it into the map draw call. And draw the range there. But only for the selected tower, which is something to do as well. Okay, now it seems it's too small and I'm missing the ×2 now, right? Of course. So third time's the charm. And seems I could just simplify this. I hope that's correct. Not that. That. Okay. And I'm gonna move all of these to the tile factory. Not the tile factory, to the map. Okay. So all of these. I don't think I'm gonna need a show range. I'm gonna have to come up with a strategy how to select the tower. And it doesn't have to be static now. Is the build ready? Okay, this seems okay now. Okay, cool. Let's handle the drawing now. And the tower selection. Right, the tower selection. Okay. So it's the texture and origin calculated, texture loaded, that's okay. And inside the draw, you have to do the thing we did there. So let me copy all of this, and we don't need it there. Yeah, right. And this is for the map task. Okay. Let's handle the tower selection because we need the tower selected before we can draw. So I'm thinking I'm just gonna make a flag that it is selected. It's selected. And inside the update, when we tap on the tower, it should get updated. Map update. We are updating the towers in the idle state, which is again not optimal, but doesn't matter for now. So, okay. And I want to select the towers. I mean, the map updates in both states, so it's okay. So we're gonna need something like this. And if we tap on the tower, we're just gonna switch the selected. I'm thinking about this. We can select more than one, right? Okay. So let's just do this. And it's gonna switch the flag if it's selected or not, tapping on the tower. And then we are going to do something like this. We're gonna have to, let me just split it into a normal for each loop so it's easier to read and obvious what I'm doing. Let's just iterate through all the towers. And I'm interested only in the tower tiles because only those can be selected. If the tower is selected, we're gonna do this draw call. With the tower position. And the color will be white. Need the tower range. And that's all. Okay, that should be okay. Let's give it a go. So there's the tower. I'm clicking it again. Right, should show the range. Cool. And clicking it again should turn it off. Perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. Okay. So that's another task done. Great. Yeah, thank you, Tim. I like it as well. Ended up better than I thought. The next task is adding monsters some HP and making towers doing damage instead of insta kills. So that should be a lot easier than the tower indicator. So let's look at the monsters and give them health. I'm gonna make it public for now. I'm gonna make it private. And I'm gonna make a method to take damage. With a parameter of how much. Fully damage. And we're gonna just reduce the health. And we should also make it a parameter of the monster to set up the health. gonna give it 10 as default for now. Okay, so that's taking damage, and if health is equal or less than 0, let's kill the monster, which is just calling the die method. Okay. And now inside the game manager, I believe we are dealing damage, or inside the are we handling the projectile collision? Is it inside the map? Ah, I forgot. Okay, it must be in the tower tile update, right? Or rather the projectile update. There. Okay. We've already got the damage of the projectile. So instead of calling target die, we're gonna take damage. And that should be all. Okay. Let me reduce the health, because 10 is too much for now. Let's say 3. And I'm gonna increase the speed of the projectiles because they're too slow. This is killing the projectile itself. Target taking damage. And that's all. Okay. Seems okay. There's 5 projectile. New projectile. What's the cooldown on the towers? That's gonna be in Tile Factory. Cooldowns 1 shot per second. Let me just right. Okay. Thinking I'm gonna make a slight modification of putting there a plus. Meaning the cooldown isn't exactly set to the default value, but since it's not tick down to exact 0, I don't want to lose that past time, so I'm just gonna increase it by the cooldown. Just to be as much exact as we can. Okay, so that should do the thing, I think. I was also thinking the monster should like react to the projectile, like blinking red or something like that, that we know it was hit. Is it? Oh, it's there in the to-do list. So that's something to think about later. Sure. Also, feel free to ask anything if you need to explain something in more depth or you've got any other ideas. I appreciate if anyone who's watching can contribute in a sense of designing the game. As I said in each episode, I'm just coming up with things as we go. I've got nothing prepared as usual, so it's all just one big brainstorm. Hello, Fernando. Sure. If you've got time, you can watch the previous episodes just to catch up what we've done. But seriously, the most fun things are happening or will happen. The previous was just setting up things and dealing with the boring stuff. Now we're at this firing. So you can see it took 3 projectiles to kill 1 monster, which is okay. The projectiles are faster. We need more towers. Cool. Still want to get it through. So it would really be nice to see some effect that it got hit. The typical blink, I think for now would be enough. And maybe adding a health bar for the monster could be useful. Haven't decided about it yet. Like mentioned, nothing is thought through. Let me add it on the list. Monster, I don't know, HP bar. And I'm gonna mark this as done, even though there's gonna be more work on this, but that's the matter of everything. Everything will be constantly redone, reworked, and refactored. That's how the process goes. So, monster HP, let's call it done. I would, for now, really like to see the flashing, so I'm gonna put it up there. That's something visual, and we love visual things. And it should be easy. Let's just say private bool is hit. For a suggestion, memory match game is your favorite. Okay, I haven't done a video about it, but I've also ported the game on mobile as a training to prepare for things a little. So I've actually got the memory game on a mobile phone. I'd love to see another card game like Solitaire or Blackjack done with MonoGame in the future. Sure, sure. Uh, hello, Ellie. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Ali. Another card game that I'm making, but not as intensely as I was hoping, is actually my big project. It's got just a few episodes of devlog on the channel. Yay, the constant debate between Unity and MonoGame. It's just a different approach, but the thinking should be the same. And hello, Bruno. How are you? I think many of the concepts and algorithms could be transferred to Unity as well. It's right, exactly. Just using the right tool for the right thing at the right time. So I've prepared a flag that it is hit, and once it's hit, I'm just gonna change the color for the draw call, and I'm gonna need a timer for how long it should blink. So let's do something like I don't know, hit duration. Should be like hit duration left. How much time is left? And the sprite already got like the color. So I'm gonna use this, and inside the update, I'm gonna change the color. So if is hit, and I'm gonna change the is hit inside the take damage. So is hit true, because it just got hit. And when it is, let me simplify this. Let's say color is hit. When it's hit, let's try red. And if it's not, it's gonna stay white. And now we have to like reduce the time. So if hit duration left bigger than 0, let's reduce the time. And So if there is the blink stage time left, it's gonna reduce. Otherwise, let's say else, we're just gonna say is hit false. Now I'm thinking, do I care that this is gonna process every update? I think it's okay. I saw your to-do file. Why not using to-do list task command that are built in with Visual Studio? That's a fairly simply explained. I didn't know there's such thing. If it's simple, just let me know how to. And I can transfer it into a fancy to-do list task. But so far I was okay with this. Just keeping things simple. So is it false? Okay. So we're setting the color based on if it is. Oh, you mean like the big Visual Studio, not code? Yeah, I'm using VS Code, so well, I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of extensions for to-do lists and stuff, but I'm really okay with this. It's really simple. So color is set based on if it's recently been hit, and we decide that here. So should I do this first and then do the color? I don't know. Also, we need to set the duration, right? And now thinking, I don't even need the is hit bool flag. I think I'm good enough with just the number. Has the same purpose. I'm just gonna delete this. And instead of that, I'm gonna say hit duration left something like 10th of a second. And where is it? Let's do it like this. And would be enough. So if there's a duration left, we're gonna reduce it. Otherwise, we don't care about it. Okay. And the color is based on that number. I'm still thinking whether I should put the color beneath the time reduction or not. Because it's gonna take damage in one frame. It really doesn't matter. It's just gonna be like a slight time difference, but it's really short. So it's gonna make slight difference, but we're gonna see. And that should be all. Design pattern. So, well, it's every project is about like more design patterns, I guess. But To be honest, I have no idea what rich domain design pattern is. So if I am using it, it's by accident or by intuition, not by knowledge. So far, it's been like a whatever seems right goes. Haven't thought about the hierarchy or the program architecture that much. It's still very small, so manageable. If the project grows, then I'm gonna restructure into something more readable and sustainable. So what are we trying to test? The monsters hit blink. Okay. They are blinking. Yeah, I like the static parts for globals and stuff. There are others that are not fans, and that's also correct because you don't want to like overdo it and just take it with care. For me, it seems like the blink is a little late, but that could be multiple reasons. Like the monster is drawn after the projectile, so we don't see the projectile traveling to the middle of the monster to be recognized as a hit. So it seems like the projectiles are like long gone, and then just the monster blinks. But the blinking is working. I don't know. Let me know how you feel about this little animation taking damage. Does it feel like satisfying enough? Is the color right? We could use different colors, but red is like, I don't know, industry standard. White blinking is also usual. Okay, I think it's, or is the duration okay? Just a little delay. Yeah, I think it's a optical illusion, and I'm gonna change it somewhere where it's drawn there, because we are drawing the projectile with the map, and I think we're drawing the monsters after that. And I don't think I can change that easy. Because now I can separate the projectiles to be drawn after the monsters. And if I put the monsters first, they're gonna be overdrawn by the map, which is even worse. So there's no easy solution right now. I would have to put those draw calls inside the game manager, I guess, to some special method and call just that. It's not that hard, but do I want to do that right now? Okay. I'm thinking about it and it really shouldn't be that hard, so let me just try. I'm gonna extract this into a separate method and just call this from outside. Like here. Right. Actually wasn't that hard. And so we should see the projectiles travel all the way, and that could help with the illusion of the delay. It should feel better now. But I think that's the monster hit flash done. I'm okay with the current state. And the next tasks are more or less pushing bugs or preventing incorrect states. But we can do like another things first. So yeah, see, now we can see the projectile travel to the middle of the monster. Seeing it disappear, changing into blank feels more natural, or at least for me. Let me know if that seems better now. For collisions with the projectiles, I'm using simple circle collisions, just comparing the distance between the centers, if it's close enough. Okay, that's better. So we can either continue with boring stuff, like preventing building in place state. I think that means I can add. Is it hard to implement? You mean the circle collisions? No, that's the simplest collision detection that can be just comparing a number. It's, where is it? Like this, just that. There's the vector between two positions. That's the position of the target, that's the monster, that's the position of the projectile. And we measure the distance. And if the distance is, I don't know, I've put like a number 5, meaning it's really close, then it's considered a hit or a collision. It's really simple. Yep. That's a full episode. I mean, like 3 minutes with this on the channel. It's a quickie number 14. Can I paste links in the chat? I don't know. Let me know if that works. Okay, so what next? Let me close everything again because it's a mess. A monster HP bar. That's gonna be hard or not? In the middle. So let me quickly do this, a random spawn, meaning I don't like how they like go in a line. I would like them to spawn randomly, but this will also mean that they will spawn on top of each other. So we're gonna have to implement some delay in spawning them. What would be the best like approach or game design? I want to spawn like a fixed number of monsters. It's what, 8 now, but instead of putting 1 in each column, thanks Tim. Not an infinite, or I mean, it can be anything we dream of. As I said, there's nothing set or designed upfront, so we're doing whatever we come up with as we go. And now I'm thinking I just want to improve the mechanism of spawning the monster wave. So let's say there's gonna be a wave of 20 monsters, and instead of putting 1 in each lane, I want them to pop randomly, but we have to also space them out so that they are not like on top of each other. So now I'm thinking I could do something like 8 cubes. Randomly fill them, like 3 there, 2 there, 1 there, there's no one, there's 5, etc. And then starting the wave. And when there's like 5 in one column, I don't want to like run 5 on one tile, but to be like one after the other. 5 monsters. So I could either just change the position, the initial position, to be spaced out by tiles. That would work, I think. Are you not going to design levels with predetermined enemies? I wanted to do maybe something different, like, for example, those random positions are semi-random generated levels, and the amount of monsters is gonna be dependent on something. And maybe if we create more monster types and difficulties, we're gonna have to like come up with more mechanisms how to select. But I would like it to be randomly generated or procedurally generated, not fixed. Because when it's fixed, you're just gonna learn the best, let's say, placement or strategy. Then you have to just repeat that strategy over and over again. But when it's random, you have to adjust, and it's more fun. It's okay. We haven't discussed that in the previous episodes, so that's a good question. Why not just using random number decrease by time? I'm not sure I'm following what you mean. Random number decrease by time. Oh, you mean for the spawn, like spawning in a fixed interval? That's another approach, but I was thinking like there could be like more monsters spawn at one time. Right. And I need to prevent that they spawn at the same place at the same time. So that's why I'm thinking I'm just phase one will be filling the queues for the columns and then executing those queues. So if there's queued monster for 4 of the columns, they will pop at one time, etc. Yeah, the wave system and stuff somewhere around in the tasks. Exactly. So let's try handling the spawning. Um, okay, so let me recall where's there's a spawn monster method for that column. So should be there, right? in the monster manager. So I'm gonna start with what? An array of queues, I guess. Okay. So let's say queue and it could be like some kind of index of the monster, but we don't have that right now. So I'm thinking for now I could simplify it into an array of integers. But I will have to refactor it into something like this later anyway. Okay, so let's do a queue of integers. I mean, the entity for now is irrelevant. We're just gonna take the information that there is something. So it really doesn't matter for now. And can I make something like this? Okay. Let's call it a monster queue. Needs a size. How do you initialize a array of queues? Is this all right? That should work, right? Okay. Okay. How do you make it into an array? That's a simple question. Let me Google it. It's gonna be queue of arrays. Oh, I want an array of queue. Queue. Okay, there's a Stack Overflow topic. So I'm not the only one. Job. Okay. That's correct. But how do you initialize? Okay, it's not that simple. Right, because you need to initialize every... I see. So let me do it in the constructor. Okay. So we're gonna need, let's say, that many views. Okay. Then the queue like this. Okay. Cool. So those are the queues prepared. Let me do a few helper methods. Something that will return a random column. So let's say random column index. Let's do a fill queues. How many monsters we want to fill? And we're just gonna do monster queue at a random column in queue. For example, one. This could be like the monster type index later. Okay. I'm still thinking if this is unnecessarily complicated or not. There could be easier solutions. But let's try this for now. Okay. And now we need to like just spawn the monsters. So I'm gonna reuse this and I'm gonna have to know how many monsters are there in each queue. So I might in the end just reduce it to an int array and just count how many monsters should spawn there. I'm gonna lose the ability to choose the type, which is not something I want. But it would be so much simpler. And also spawning them outside of the tile map. I won't be able to call the search because that's dependent on being on a map already. So there should be some kind of delay mechanism. Or I could no, that's too complicated. I was thinking just letting them run and only while when they reach the first tile of the map, only then search for the path, but that seems unnecessary. Let me start somewhere. We're gonna navigate. Pivot. Okay. So now we've got a monster queues built randomly. And we want to spawn the monsters. Okay. Okay, the only current problem is really with the search, needing the position. How does it look inside? It's a starting vector, and this is the problem. We need to convert the position into a map indices. So if I put the monster outside of the map, it's going to break the search algorithm. I could like manipulate the y index. Like there. Screen to map. Something like if it's less than 0, make it a 0. So something like this would fix the problem. Maybe something rather like this. Okay, let's try. Let's try like that. And now I can set the initial position of the monster to be outside of the map. And it's gonna be recognized as it was on the edge all the time. Okay. And now I will have to somehow remember how many monsters were in a queue for each column. Is it gonna be a problem? Not sure. But I know what we need to do next. So we have to go through each queue, which is an array. So we're gonna have to do this. Like this. Count is this. Right, we could do. And let me rename this into queues. Let's see. Length. Okay. Where are we? There. Okay, so that's the current queue for the current column to be processed. And we need to take each of them. Now I'm thinking I'm gonna remake it from queue into a simple list. Just because right, okay. Let's do it like so. Should be all compatible. And now I'm gonna do a for each. It's not really a monster, but okay. In this, and it's gonna be at. Okay. Okay, and we're gonna call this for the column that we are currently going through. That's I, but we have to add one more attribute. That's the Y axis, meaning how far the monster should spawn. And it's gonna simulate the delay because it's gonna have to travel one tile more, which is gonna not work well with different speeds of the monsters. Because even if it's gonna spawn far back, when it's a lot faster than the ones before it, it's gonna catch up. But it could be okay. Let's call it by design. But we are far from there, so let's not think about it for now. But we are gonna need the Y position, which is there, and it's not gonna be a 0, but something. Yeah, thank you, team. Thank you for staying there. Have a nice rest of the day. Cheers. And that's gonna be like the number of monsters in this queue. And are we going to iterate? Maybe. Let's say I'm gonna need row 0, 0, plus plus, something like this. And it's gonna be row times metal size, but I need to move them far back, so I need to negate this. Let's say minus row. And this is just gonna spawn the monsters. Hopefully the Pathfinder will work with the change we made. And add the monster to the list. Okay, so now we just need to call this somewhere, and this. This could be called inside that. And this should be called when starting the wave. And that's somewhere there. So instead of calling spawn monster, we monsters, right? And that's how many. And we don't need the 4 that has been replaced, and we can just say how many monsters we want to spawn. Just to see the difference, let's say 16. Okay, is that all? I'm sure something will break, but we'll see. And again, this could just be a simple int array, just counting how many monsters should spawn in each lane, but we wouldn't be able to select the monster type later on, which I will want to. So that's why it's slightly more complicated for now, but it should pay off later. Okay, let me verify what we did. The lists are initialized, so that shouldn't be a problem. Queues. We fill the queues with, for now, 16 monsters. That will add them one by one into a random column. And then we empty the queues, or we are actually not emptying the queues. So before filling the monster queues, we need to empty them. And that should be done like so. Clear. Okay. Otherwise, with every wave, they would just stack up. It's not what we want. Oh, it's okay. So we're gonna clear the queues, randomly fill them, and then spawn for each queue. Spawn that many monsters spread along the y-axis. Okay. Hopefully. It's X, Y. That could also be a okay. Okay, let's give it a go. What's the warning about? Never assigned. You always have its default value null. Monster queues. Wait, what? Doesn't seem right. Okay, I'm not initializing the array itself, it seems. It's gonna be a problem. Yep. So it should be something like how many? That many? Okay. Okay. Go again. Hmm. Okay, it's not failing now. Let's place a few towers. You can see the range now. And there goes 16 monsters randomly split. Okay. That looked correct at the first glance. Of course, they will stick up when they move. That's something we know, and it's okay. Can someone count really fast and say that there's 16 of them? That's 8. And 4 and 4, that's 16. Okay. They seem randomly distributed and spread out. I feel like their movement isn't smooth. They feel a little jiggly. I'm not sure if it can be seen on the stream. It's just a slight nuance. And I'm not sure it's really happening or if it's something lagging. But it's something I will look into later. But I think it looks okay and does exactly what we wanted. It's great. Okay, perfect. I don't see anything wrong with that. I think we succeeded. So that's a great progress. I think that's gonna be it for today. It's been almost 2 hours, and I've been keeping you long enough. I think we did a lot of great stuff. So again, leave a like if you enjoyed what you've seen, what we've done today. And I will be looking for you to join me again next time. I was thinking on a weekend, which I have some spare time. Leave a comment with what you would like to see. How would you like to proceed with the game? As I have said, there's nothing written in a stone that we cannot change. That's basically all I've got prepared or on my mind for future those tasks. Just some ideas, but those can change. We can evolve the game anyway we want and feel. So thank you again for staying here with me today, and I'll see you next time. See you soon. Bye bye. Thank you.